Please help me welcome Bobbie Suzette.
Wow. Stephanie, I'm more than privileged to share the stage with you. You're a good girl. Thanks for showing up. Everybody, just thank you for being here. I know why the order changed. I do. I didn't know, but I do now. And after Thad spoke, I thought, oh, Lord, okay, I know. And then Stephanie came up and I said, maybe I don't know. I know nothing. But first of all, when I think about showing up, I just want to thank my mom and my sisters and all these friends for showing up. I'm so grateful because I know you go through a lot whenever God's doing something, there's struggles. I'm the first one to know that there's struggles, and it was such confirmation. I'm riding on the church bus here. Thank you. Yeah. And I'm just listening, and God had given me this message, and I'm just listening, and I don't even need confirmation. I don't. But He's so sweet when He gives it, and I'm hearing Carmen Cash and Shelley and Marita and Connie, and they're just talking about some of the things they went through getting here, and I'm just thinking, give God's breath away. You were giving God's breath away to me. And I was thinking the same thing, that it was my God appointment. And I don't know, sometimes I love struggles. I do, because struggles provide an opportunity. And I just want you to know that I'm here to celebrate the struggle. And I was here last night in the lobby celebrating a little the struggle that I couldn't print this out. And yet all my new friends were coming up and saying, oh, and I'm like, ah. And, and I'll tell you, there's people in this room right now that taught me how to show up. And I had no idea they were coming, so I'm sitting in the lobby, thinking, okay, I can do this, Lord, this is you. You got to print this out for me now. And all of a sudden, I hear a whistle, and I'm thinking, I'm not looking up. I'm tired of everything. We need to work on this, because this is your message for tomorrow, Lord. And 4 women showed up. Tricia, she always shows up. Val, Glenda, Brenda, and I looked up and I thought, I didn't need any more confirmation, but they were here. So I just thank you, everyone, just for showing up. And I've spent most of my life in the struggle, and yet I made it here. And one thing for sure, I did not pray to get here. Matter of fact, if you would have told me this was the here, I would have ran. I would have ran for the hills. And in my story a little bit later, you'll see that that's exactly what I did. But thankfully, most of the time, God does not give us the entire picture of our lives. He gives us one dream, one vision, one picture at a time. I've learned that showing up is the battle. My father used to say, Bobbie, a mind made up is a battle won. And then he'd say, and when you don't want to do it, you need to do it. Mm-hmm. And then he'd gently explain that even if you don't receive anything, once you commit to something, your commitment becomes more important than the actual message or the meeting. And so as all my new friends were talking about showing up, I understood. And at the time when he told me, I didn't always understand what he was trying to tell me. But today I know the words and the discipline that he gave me more than my life. Because I would have been the one not to show up. I wouldn't have shown up ever. The enemy does not have to worry about any message or anything if he can get us not to show up. I will admit that sometimes I receive and sometimes I give, but once I commit, I always show up. Tricia, I knew you were waiting for me. I would never lay you down. I just always showed up. I can't look at her right now, but thank you for showing up, because it's you guys that released this message. If you wouldn't have showed up, if I didn't know you were coming, this message could have never come through me. And so I hope you know how without you guys here, this message would not, I'm going to state in my notes because there's a little emotion going. He'll take over in a minute, so don't you worry. But without you, this message would never have come through my life. Without you, my fear would have stopped me. I needed something bigger than myself. I needed each one of you. And as you will see, I'm not a born speaker. I don't mind, it's okay. But with him, I have something to say. I have spent the last 2 weekends on a date with God. I did not talk with anyone. I did not leave my bedroom. Even my kids knew that I was off limits. You might say, why would she do that? And I would answer, because I'm not a born speaker, but I am a daughter. And I needed to know what my Father's words were for today. I needed his discipline, and I needed to know what he wanted to give you. I needed to trust that if I showed up, that he would speak through me. Please know from the day Karen called me, the messages started to come. I would write them on sticky notes and envelopes and book pages and gum wrappers, and I wrote them on everything. I mean, they're still everywhere. I find them and I think, oh, yep, that's in there, Lord. And to be perfectly honest, there were some messages I didn't want to give today because of fear. It was my date with the Lord over the 2 weekends that gave me courage. Not because he pushed me or he gave me conditions, because he loved me just as I am, with the fear, with the doubt, with the baggage. And when he gives because he has, not ever because he wants. As I was writing God appointments, he would always give me the titles first. And at the time, I didn't even know why. I didn't even really notice. It was like the titles gave me this little security, that he had something to say. And it just released something in me. I believe the 2 weekends that I spent with God represented my willingness. My willingness to show up. My willingness to do something when I didn't want to do it. I want you to know that showing up for those 2 weekends gave me everything I never knew I needed. And the message today is the last one he gave me. He gave me the first message last. As I began to write, I began to become aware that even in his order, like I'm sitting there thinking, I wonder why I got the last message for the first talk. And I thought, even in his order, there was something he was teaching me. He gave me thoughts of how important it is to show up. I showed up the first weekend. I didn't even know I'd need the second weekend. So I showed up again. And that's when he allowed me to understand that there was a message when I was a little girl that my dad taught me. I'm going to get back to my notes. Because why? Because she's not a born speaker. But she's got something to say. Why? Yes, I know it. It was in the second weekend when I thought back to that simple lesson. God was revealing how important showing up is. And I believe God spoke through my father years ago because he knew I would be the one not to show up. I'm humbled that God trusted me with all of your lives today. And with this message, a mind made up is a battle won. Hear that, you guys. A mind made up is a battle won. And if you don't want to do something, is when you need to do it. Because of that simple teaching, God knows that once I commit to him, even if all hell breaks loose, and it usually does, in the lobby last night with all my friends, unless I am dead, I will show up. I might be nervous, I might have fear, but I will show up. Because my mind is aware that it doesn't get to choose anymore. It's just not an option. I may not have anything godly to say. I may not even speak But God teaches me that 90% is presence and 10% is performance. And I do, because even when I don't hear his voice, when he's quiet, I know he's there. You are here this weekend, and there's just no way you could possibly know how important you are to all of us. I mean, all of us here, but especially to Karen, founder of Strive for Greatness and our little Women of Purpose. Not because she wants something from you. Oh, no, It's just the opposite. She has something for you. And I'm thankful, Kevin, I'm so thankful for you because you know about leadership and headship. You know the difference. And because of your headship, we're able to experience Karen's leadership. And so I don't know that I even understand all of that, but I know God does. And I'm just really grateful that you showed up and allowed us to all be here. Thank you. Thanks, both of you. When God gave me the title for this talk, I knew what he wanted. It was just like, whew. It's not about showing up. He said a life is always good. Where's that at? A life is always good. Sometimes when we love someone so much, we would rather die than to hurt them. There was a point in my life that Satan made me think my sin would hurt my family more than taking my life. I was 16, pregnant, and willing to die. Yes, I loved God and I knew him, but I did not know how to give my burdens to him. It was through the journey that God revealed a Father's love. It was through this journey I learned that a life is always good. A few years ago, I wrote a song. I'm not a songwriter. I don't sing. But I wrote a song because God knew that I was going to need all these miracles in my life just to get my sorry butt up on this stage. So, I'm not going to sing it. But I'm getting kind of confident with this little microphone, though, so I might. No. But these are the words. This scared me, too. I said to my girlfriend, Teresa, I love Teresa, I go, do you think I should do it? She goes, yes, just go for it. I'm like, whoo, okay. This song is, really?
Yes. You can do it.
Oh, not you. Don't you tell me. Oh my God. You know what I told the Lord? I was just going to do one little line. Sing it. I told him if anyone ever asked me, I would do it, didn't I? Okay, you might have to give me his 10 minutes. Okay, it won't be. And I might have to look, I probably will have to shut my eyes. I cannot believe this is not in here. Brenda said leave room for the Holy Spirit. Because I said I'm just going to stick to my notes. Okay, I'm going to sing it. This has got to be out of the tape recording, though. It will be. Okay. Wow. Okay, I might forget words, but working on your plan, Lord. Don't know what will be. Have to have faith, yeah. You're alive in me.
Yes, Lord.
You know my struggles. Down on my knees. When I'm in trouble, Lord, you rescue me. Many times I doubt you. Don't know why you come. Can you still love me? It's why he calls you son. Oh, yes, I'm working on your plan, Lord. Don't know what will be. Have to have faith, yeah. You're alive in me. I give you all my burdens. Seem too hard to hold. Not for you, my friend, my God. To you they are like gold. Without the weight of this old world, you make me who I am. Let them see the Christ in me. Your mercy till the end. Oh, yes, I'm working on your plan, Lord. Don't know what will be. Have to have faith, yeah. You're alive in me. Words without measure. You've loved me through it all. You say I'm your treasure. You never let me fall. My days on earth are slipping. My eyes can clearly see. You keep me in the spirit, Lord. You talk to me. Oh, yes, I'm working on your plan, Lord. Don't know what will be. Have to have faith, yeah. You're alive in me. When my time is over, I'll step up to the gate. You'll take my hand forever, and I won't have to wait. You know, I can't sing this part, but I gotta end it. Living in your plan, Lord, I know just what will be. You had faith, yeah. Eternity, that's right. Yeah. Eternity forever. Eternity. That was a miracle. That was a miracle. All right, got through that. Wow. After my dad found out I was pregnant, first words he said literally saved my life. Not just my physical life, but God's life alive in me. God's life alive in me. I was in my bedroom weeping because I knew my mama had just told him. And so when he was coming down the hall, I just froze. And he gently pushed my door open, Thad. And this is what he said. He said, Bobbie, a life is always good. And when you love someone like the love in the Bible, it doesn't matter what they do. You always love them. And you know the funny thing about this is, my daddy didn't talk about Jesus hardly ever because he didn't have to. He behaved like Jesus. So, I mean, the best words or the best sermons sometimes I'm learning are without words and sometimes without song, but I'm so sweating up here. Don't get me wrong, my dad, he did give me a lot of words, but there was something bigger inside of him. He was familiar. My daddy released love from me. He released love from me. The love that he gave was so much bigger than my mistakes. And the love that he gave me was totally blind to all of my faults. He could see something in me that I couldn't see. He could see who I was created to be. Not all the false images that this world puts on us. And I used to think he was crazy when he'd say, this is my daughter, Bobbie Suzette, and she's going to change the world. And I said, I can't even barely change a diaper, could I? I really thought something was wrong with him. Out of the gate, I would not have received the award for Mother of the Year. I wouldn't have. But my dad never noticed. Not once did my family call me out. Actually, they called me in so they could cover me. Jesus covered me in his blood, yes. Yes, I know that. But it was my family who proved it. Yes. It was the love that they showed me that proved that there is a God because I saw him. And people that so often I wanted to turn away. I wanted to run, and at times I didn't want to be a mother. But thank God no one noticed. My mom still doesn't notice all my weaknesses. What we focus on grows in ourselves and in others. We each know when we've done something wrong. We don't need anyone to tell us. I think sometimes we're just waiting for someone to release something right in us. We will release something. It's either going to be anger, jealousy, fear, or it's going to be love. The choice is ours. What are we going to release? When we were praying, I was saying we're like release agents. We're just responsible. We have the power to release heaven in people. This season of my life, this was my first great experience with God. I mean, He showed up in the people around me. And I was aware of the people around me. My struggles became God's opportunity. If my love reflects the debt that was forgiven, well, it helps me to understand why I would rather die than hurt God. God is also teaching me about balance. As you'll hear in another message, I'm learning that balance is critical in all things. I can see it everywhere. I can see it in myself. I can see it in everything. I can see it in everyone. And yet, most of my life, I was not even aware of this balance, but it was there. I experienced it every day. When things are out of balance, it shows up in people in a mighty way. Now I understand how when you're out of balance, it's just not pretty. I was a little out of balance in that lobby last night, but I covered it. But it wasn't pretty. But being in balance is the most beautiful thing. Even my childhood, I look at the balance. I had two parents, but don't freak out because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have two parents or one parent. See, it's not about the person. We always want to say, oh, it's because of this, it's because of that. It's not about the person. It's more about that we get what we need. And I'm going to get back to my notes. It's that singing that, I guess what I want to say, it's not who it comes through or how many that's important. It's the balance that matters. It does not even need to be very long. It's always one God, one moment, one life, and every life is good. God's balance is immediate. It transforms now. It heals everything one by one. I was a single mom, and for the most part, I really did do everything wrong. My kids should be totally messed up, I swear, but they aren't. Are my kids? They are love. I knew how to do one thing. I knew how to love because everyone around me released Him in me. Woo. It does not take much. It doesn't take much. It takes showing up. It takes a little awareness. It takes a little understanding and God's love. I just happened to grow up with two parents, and I'm so thankful. One spoke to my flesh a little more, Mom, and I needed it. I'm grateful. But my daddy spoke to my spirit a little more. But it doesn't have to be from a mom and daddy. It just happened to be with mine. And I'm so grateful that I got both because the flesh is going to be corrected by someone. I love it. I'd rather a mom or dad and a friend that loves you than Satan, because it will be different. It really will be. Oh, wow. How am I? Okay. All right, well,
Five more minutes.
okay, then I'm going to skip some of this, because I'll come back. I'm getting there. We're going to miss those thoughts because I'll catch those tomorrow. I'll be so much, I think I'll be better tomorrow. I didn't sleep last night because I had to sing. I might have a new career. I wasn't an author a year ago. I'm still not a speaker, but, well, my mom and daddy did plant. Yeah, I know. They did plant a lot of good seeds, and it took them a while. You know, they didn't see them grow right away. They didn't. Many times I did wonder if God thought my life was good, and I would hear my daddy's voice say, "Life is always good, Bobbie." And I'm not sure, but I believe it was just critical that, maybe not for any of you, but it was critical for me to know You know, even coming here today, spending time for those weekends, it was critical to God that I knew that Bobbie, just show up for me. You know, I'm going to call you to do a lot of things that you might not even think you can do. But he's just calling me to show up. And boy, that singing took a lot of my time. Okay, this is good. Okay, Mom, we skipped a lot of the whipping, so this is good. This is good for you. Okay. This is so good. Okay, I'm going to start and I'm going to get really serious. Jesus has always focused on the little things I could do. And because of that, I can do more and I can give more. He does not need this from me. He doesn't. He wants it for me. That, I think about, that is the love the disciples died for. Jesus' life put heaven back in me. And God's love releases heaven on earth in me. I know this part was critical for God, that I knew this. See, Satan said to Eve, this just came on the airplane. This is good. I have to write everything down because my nerves dilute it. So Satan said to Eve, you can be like God and know what he knows. She did not know what she had. She already was like God. Yes. She was made in his image, and I started thinking about that. She was just aware of the wrong thing. She didn't know. I spent most of my life trying to create paradise around me, homes, clothes, stuff, and I'm a worker. You know, I can work. And I think that's okay, even in balance. I'm always going to like pretty things. God made me to like pretty things. I don't feel any weirdness about that. And I even understand why now. Because I came from the garden. I came from paradise. But I had to learn that Adam and Eve did not create paradise. God did. Paradise was inside of them and inside of me through Jesus. Yes. When I lost my paradise, I found his paradise inside of me. I had to ask myself, this is good. Am I living my life in such a way that I can help inspire people to fall in love with the groom, or am I spending all of my time creating the ceremony or paradise? Am I living my life in such a way that I help inspire people to fall in love with the groom, or am I spending all of my time creating the ceremony or the paradise? I wish that was mine. Years ago, the Lord gave me a prayer that allowed me to experience one of the toughest times of my life. Lord, help me be weak. Lord, help me be strong when others are weak. And more importantly, help me be weak when others need to be strong. And that was from the Lord. Most of you don't know my dad. I'm just going to tell a quick story and then I'm done. He was just more than a dad to me. He was my hero, and he was in a coma for 15 months before he passed. To most people, his condition seemed hopeless. Looking back with my natural eyes, it was hopeless. But my father, he taught me to see people where they could be and not where they are. He told me that when the love is big enough, Bobbie, the facts don't count. The fact is my dad should have immediately died from that brain hemorrhage. And even though my mom had every right, medically, legally, morally, to just say, we're done, Bobbie, she became weak so I could be strong. For 15 months, she kept him alive. And we cared for him. And in her weakness, I learned to celebrate all the little things he could do. Those same little things that Jesus saw in me. The doctor said he was 100% brain dead and that he'd never communicate with us. And I told him, didn't I, Mama? I said, you don't know my dad. You don't know him. When my father passed away, he winked, he snapped his fingers, he patted my little granddaughter on the back, and he gave his famous thumbs up. Looking back, I'm still amazed through the drool and the gagging and the smells and his disordered face that we saw only the little things that he could do. It took me 15 months to get this. I had to get my motive right. In the beginning, I was worried about what I wanted, what I wanted him to be, how I wanted him to look. I didn't want to live my life without him. In my selfishness, I could have missed some of the sweet little moments, those little simple things that bring joy and not necessarily happiness. God waited 15 months for me to see with his eyes, to appreciate what my father could do. I keep hearing, life is always good, even when the life doesn't look like what we want it to look like. A life is always good. It was my father who taught me to see people where they could be and never give up on the journey that gets them there. I mean, you never know. You'd never know what part of that journey. Stephanie, I think of you that is going to change the entire course of your life. I remember sitting on the back porch and I said, just randomly, Daddy, when do I slow down? And this is what changed the entire course of my life. He said, Bobbie, not until every child is fed. At the time, this was so far. I'd never done one missions trip. This was so far from anything I thought I even could do. It was familiar. It was so familiar in my spirit, but it was my mind that was not able to trust. It's almost been 9 years since my father passed away. We never talked about it again. And even though he didn't get to see the seeds grow with his natural eyes, I know, like my very next breath, that he knew. Most of my life I've been paralyzed by the numbers and the measurements and all the statistics. And then I met Bob Pearson from Horizon, and he said, we'll just feed these kids one child at a time. That's what we'll do. And I thought, my God, it's always been, God, I know you. It's always been one by one. I'm not scared of numbers anymore because I know. I may not know a lot, and I might get a little nervous speaking, but I know 1 + 1. And for me, see, I'm grateful for my table, but the table to the right of it, the one that has little children on it, that's why I live. And that's why he died. So I may never see every child fed with my natural eyes, but I know, like my next breath, that the seeds we plant, that someone will get to see every child fed. And so this weekend, just get to know some of these kids, and God will lead you. But I just thank you. Thank you for showing up. Karen, thanks for putting up with me. And I'm tired of myself right now, so I'm just gonna get down off this stage. God bless you. Thank you.